Hey everyone, Zones. Third place at Houston 2025. Here, I have a second deck profile. I'm just going over the deck that I took to the third place finish. And hopefully this can be informative for anyone looking to play Sekka in any variant really this season. Just some thoughts on the deck and what to do. So I have like, I made these cards for like mulligan categories, and then I was like, wait, I don't this isn't like the Hearthstone or digital style of Mulligan. So just like, instead, I guess think of these categories as like cards that we really want to look for, and cards that like can be considerations, right? So let's start with the core of the deck: three Sekka, three Sekka Fatebound Fox, three Resolve the Nine-Tailed Fox, and three Sekka Advance. Right. So I'll put the advances just like down here. As an Evos. Uh, so yeah, I mean Sekka is the core card of the deck. She's your win condition. She's a consistency piece, and that's why you need three advances of her. Just in case one copy gets banished, you have to see them also to win the game. Although not always in the matchup, but yeah, most of the time. Also, she can find you Chipper Skipper, who we'll get to. But yeah, a lot of your two drops are really strong, so Sekka helps you find them more consistently, and she just links a lot of pieces of the deck together. So three Edgy Elf. Um, we are a bit on the aggro side of the matchup, the metagame. So Edgy Elf helps make sure we get there. Three play point 3/3 Storm. Honestly, I think some other classes would kill to have that. The random three banish is mostly upside. Sometimes you banish. It's possible you banish all three Sekka. Honestly, not the end of the world. Although your opponent will probably breathe a sigh of relief. But yeah, just like that. Um, right. Two Spinaria. So I think Spinaria is definitely the more consistent, more value-based version of Edgy Elf. The issue is that she costs five. Like she is very good at five in the abstract, but there are some decks that can take advantage of her sort of low board clear potential, and the three bodies that she leaves. They don't have any trouble dealing with the three bodies, stuff like that. So I think also just because costing five, by turn five, you look at so many cards that you might have seen her already. Um, there's also a world where you are in a good enough spot that she's a dead card, which is rough because this is a deck that does want to be playing a card every turn, and because your costs are so low that you can afford to. So okay, let's go to our next card, and this is probably the other card of the deck. Honestly, in some ways, probably more important than our deck's namesake is Chipper Skipper. Chipper Skipper is insane, right? Let me also get out the three Evos. So yeah, Chipper Skipper is just an incredibly strong card. She, I mean, we played. She's been the heart and soul of Forest Craft since basically set 10, I would say, and will continue to be very strong. The mercenary text is important because no matter what version of Sekka you're on at least three mercenaries in the deck, but I would recommend eight. And yeah, so let's Eh, I mean, yeah, all the text is important. You get to play a mind game with your opponent on whether or not they should out her. Okay, let's go to some of the mercenaries, right? So mercenary package, we have Fina, Quixotic. This is the mercenary package I run, right? Um, and Vagabond Lizard. I would say that in order of mulligan importance, um, though, you would always keep Fina. I think you should probably mostly always keep Quixotic. And Vagabond Lizard. Yeah, I think you can keep all of these. Although I would say Vagabond Lizard may be a little more matchup dependent. It's like he sits here. But yeah, Fina, absolutely important, right? She can find Sekka, she can find other one drops, and she can destroy opposing one drops, which is important because in the second mirror, doesn't matter how big the opposing Sekka gets, you want to be able to destroy that. Yeah, Quixotic is I think more important than Vagabond, although both are nice. Vagabond gives you the option of using the Bullet Bike token, right? Right, but these tokens that they make are both really nice. I think being Sekka, do remember that Sekka is a Wasteland card, so she gets the stats as well for pushing her removal on um, the spell, resolve, and you can buff your other wasteland cards too. The wasteland cards are threats of their own, but these are going to be the only wasteland card we play. Uh, Bullet Bike also being able to rush in Sekka as a way to immediately get her into the cemetery, which is important. Okay, let's keep going. This is more of the chipper package, really. Three of Alice. Alice is good. Pushing back a card with Alice is insane. You're okay with playing her as a first card in a combo piece. Drawing a card is nice. But yeah, I mean, a lot of decks rely on Cemetery. In the mirror, also, later on, you can actually save an Alice if your opponent hasn't been able to get a second in the yard or right, and then they do like second for 1 second in the yard. Cemetery. I'm sorry. um, and then you can use this to push back a second to the EX. A second in the EX in the mirror is like so hard to move around. So yeah. So Alice, I think if you're going first, often it's okay to keep Alice, right? But if you're going second, um, she's gonna be a little harder to use just because you would rather be playing Chipper. You kind of need to recover that tempo loss from going second. Okay, so next up, three Shamu Shama. Three Shamu Shama is they're kind of just a glue that ties the deck together. They're a 1 drop. The removal mode is kind of hard to activate in this deck, but does come up. And they poke for extra damage, which matters a lot. You're trying to chip away at your opponent in most variants of this deck. This isn't really an OTK deck, even though you want to get them low and then have burst damage potential. I wouldn't keep Shamu Shaman every matchup, but they are very good. Okay, Elf Queen. Um, Another sort of card that adds consistency. What I want to say is that Elf Queen is matchup dependent. Right, and okay, hold on. Right, of course, 3 Evo Elf Queen as well. So, um, sometimes there are some matchups where she's really important. Be able to play on turn 2 or turn 3 and just kill a 2 health follower. Most notably, Grimoire Sorcerer I think is one of the followers. I would look at that. If the opponent has Sekka plus Vagabond, not Vagabond, Sekka plus Quixotic out and hasn't used the horse to buff one of them, Elf Queen can take both of them out for value. And also just that way she goes in the graveyard. Cemetery. Screw it. I'll just say graveyard. But so very important card. I run 3 Evos because my deck is not running any of the side engines that people tend to run in Zeka, and that means I can put more Evo deck space to Elf Queen. It makes her that much more consistent. Um, you're this is probably the Evo that you're most happy to trim, because you want to be evolving Chipper as many times as possible when you're in a good spot, and Elf Queen is a sort of like I'm gonna either ahead on board and I want to keep pushing board advantage, or I need to recover from behind on board. Matchups where she really shines. So, Wasteland Haven, I think that's the most notable one. Wasteland Sword, other aggro decks, right? She's going to be really good against. She's going to be a little less amazing into decks like Abyss, where you are trying to end the game before they get set up. But even then, drawing a card on combo 3, she's not the worst, right? You can go something like Chipper on going second, right? Going Chipper, Evo point. You find an Elf Queen, you play Shamu Shama, you play the Elf Queen. Shamu Shama gets the combo, you draw a card. Not terrible, and then the Elf Queen can test the board still. So okay, let's go next card here, Spinaria Unwavering Will, and this is going to be our last 3 of in my list. Um, uh, Once again, this is so I would say Spinaria, not a card that everyone runs 3 of. I really like 3 of Spinaria, and is the main reason I have 3 Chipper and 3 Elf Queen. The healing is insane in the mirror. Like if you she's the 1/3 stat line makes it really hard for your opponents to remove her in the mirror while dealing with your other threats. But I would say she is actually the most important threat in a lot of situations on the board. Because if you have one on the board, and you have another one. You might have guidance for it. Like the value you can get is huge. Yeah, that's why we can run 3/3 Evo lines on our 2 drops. I mean, right. So your main targets are going to be Elf Queen, Chipper, and sometimes our next card here. But sometimes sometimes Sekka, sometimes Shamu. But our next card here is also a good Spinaria target, and that would be Fashionista Nelcho. I don't have the cool promo one. and these are mismatched because I lost track of my second foil one. I gotta find that sometime. But yeah, Nelcha is another card that sort of just has really good roll compression in this deck. I guess that's the first time I use that term in this video, but a lot of what I think is great about this deck is the roll compression. So Nelcha, she attack, she defend. You can play her on 2, and she is still threatening because uh, you can go 1/1/1 after that, or if you're going second, you go Chipper Evolve, play a 1-drop. That's a combo 3 as well. So Nelcha is a she's a multi-role player. Later on, let's say you're going second on turn 5, you go Nelcha on one of your 1-drops into Elf Queen, and then Elf Queen evolve the Elf Queen. You can do upwards of 8 damage effectively on the board, or you can clear off 6 health worth of things by trading in the Elf Queen and then uh, pushing 2 on something else, right? So um, things that are really nice to buff anything, but and if you ever get to buff a Keen Edge artifact, that's a huge threat for surviving. Right, buffing. In some cases, if the Mystic artifact usually has to die, but yeah. So Keen Edge is I think one thing that is noteworthy. Edgy Elf, right? Our Storms, Edgy Elf, Shamu, Advanced Sekka. So yeah, and then all right. I really like Nelcha. I think she's the big payoff for not playing like a Beast engine or a more heavy Wasteland engine. Let's go. Next is Carbuncle. So this one, right? Carbuncle is crazy. That's not true. That's not true. So let me get out the token for Carbuncle as well. Yeah. So what Carbuncle's going to do, and one Evo deck swap, right? Carbuncle is, we are probably we're rarely going to play him without evolving. That's way too slow of a turn. But he is roll, compression, incarnate, and he just covers a lot of contingencies. The Carbuncle Sparkle token here does pretty much like everything, right? And you get 2 of them that'll cost 0 after you evolve the Carbuncle. So, Heal 4 is really nice because this is a very aggressive metagame. And you just add more healing in the deck, even though Carbuncle itself isn't really high tempo. Uh, your deck is so good at grabbing tempo that you often have it, right? You do it on Evolve, so if you have a Spinaria lying around, that's another 2 or even 4 healing on top of the healing you get here. Then bounce an opposing follower, right? So one of the things that can stuff your attempt to try to get a kill with Sekka is is Kawi. I think that's the follower that stands out the most. There are other wards that can also be annoying, right? And so you can bounce opposing followers with this. Having this in EX also, right? Our deck is composed of a lot of low attack followers, so opponents can try to board lock us. We can bounce our own followers as well. And I think against control decks, right, we're playing a lot of cards that like don't can't be efficiently outed. We can fall behind on hand size, but we can draw 2 cards with each of the sparkles. So, very flexible card, and that's what makes Carbuncle really strong. And let's see, so 2 more cards. One Nature's Guidance. Like I mentioned, board locking is a bit of an issue. There's a few things. Nature's Guidance isn't the most amazing card. A lot of this time, your opponent's going to be like just full clearing your board, or you have to make combo 3 and leave something, and you don't want to get rid of your things on board. Like Sekka's not a card you really want to bounce because it makes it harder for it to end in the graveyard. Cemetery. um, right, so, but that said, we're a forest deck. Bouncing Shamu Shama, bouncing Spinaria is a great bounce target. Sometimes you can use this to get an Elcha effect twice in one turn, right? I've bounced Edgy Elf to send him again the next turn, or even just 6 damage, right? Sometimes that's all you need. You're so aggressive. Or bounce Fina if you're desperate for trying to find Sekka herself. So I think just having this as a way to unboard lock fixes a lot of your problems in the deck. And then let's go. Sorry, so this, yeah, I think the main thing to keep on is this, right? Cards to keep. Where did I put the Sekka? Oh crap! Oh, no, they just stacked together. And I think this is the card that most people that's got a lot of people talking Irene. So during during the days leading up to Houston, my friend was like, "What do you do about Armor Albert?" I'm like, "What? Armor Albert?" And he was like, "Yeah, so if you turn 4 Lonus, it turns 6. for 4 play points, you use Lonis and her Evo to find Albert, the 11 card, and then you can stick an Armor of the Stars on him. I didn't prepare those cards, but yeah, that combo. If they have 10, 11 in Cemetery, um, and they keep the Albert standing, you will just lose. Because you'll attack 4 times next turn. You basically have to either uh, KO them that turn or out the Albert somehow. And this deck, like if we ignore this card, our removal is all targeted, so we would not be able to out a standing our Aura Albert. That's why I was like, let's play one card that can out it. And yeah, I mean, if I know my opponent's 11 sword, I'm 100% keeping her. But given that it's a blind deck format, there's no way to know. But I just feel comfortable having the out, and I think the main reason it works in this list is because I'm play, and I wouldn't recommend it unless I don't have this, is the 2 Carbuncle, because um I'm always going to be able to play Carbuncle before the turn I need Irene, right? Because either I'm going first, and that means I have my turn 6 first. I can Carbuncle into the 11 sword player's setup if I'm desperate and draw 4, or if I'm going second, I do this on turn 5, right? And then they do their combo turn 6, and then I have turn 6 to play her. So she's always in time, and I can dig 5 cards that turn for her. So it's not the worst. I mean, she just directly gets into the bottom of the deck. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think there's also other external uses, other sort of coincidental uses, and that's why I chose Irene over other techs. Like Viridian Magna, for example, could also have Albert. And that is the other candidate for consideration. Viridian Magna can also bang down an opposing Mysteria, but I think the added value that Irene gives you is nice, and she's more of a threat. One thing I don't like about Viridian Magna is that against decks, she's a dead card completely against decks that don't make followers, or they can even just play small enough followers to keep that board slot locked for you, like in the mirror. Whereas Irene, um, well, in the mirror, everything's probably 2 attack. But I don't know. Stuff like that can come up. They can bounce their 2 attack followers and leave you down a board slot for a turn. This card actually won me the game in the mirror once. Poor, I think it was Tristan. Yeah, he just couldn't out her efficiently, and actually just had no out for her because didn't anticipate the card. But yeah, I mean, you can take that out, Viridian Magna. So yeah, Irene. I think she's good. Not enough tech card. Does once again just serves a lot of role compression. I just like having an out to the Albert Menace that, admittedly, not that strong, but yeah. So that's the deck. I mean, I might do another resource on how you do your combos or stuff like that, but really, I think the most important thing is to look for an aggressive game plan, right? So, like I said, we're looking to. These are the most important cards to keep in our mulligan. I think, right? And so, and then, like, if you have your Sekka, your spells become a lot better. In some cases, if you have like a good like curve, you can go like if you're going second, you can go like this, right? That's that Sekka, Chipper, Edgy. That's a great combo. And then if you know you're against the slow deck, which once again is like hard to know in BCS unless you are in top cut and you face your opponent, Carbuncle is a great keep against the slow deck because you're going to be in a spot where you can use them. And then once again, I don't know why I keep saying once again. I would say Elf Queen is a good card against Sword, um, the Mirror, and probably Rune. Just having the removal option, you are going to be happy to just use her mode there. If you're going first, one Alice in hand is fine. If you're going first, Vagabond, right? Alice and Vagabond going first, both serve as your like 2-drop that you're okay with playing. So that's pretty much what I would think of with the mulligans um, in this deck. Otherwise, not too many. Right, if you have. Otherwise, your cards kind of depend on having other cards to work. So yeah, it's kind of a rambly, not rambly toward the end. There's any other info on the deck you would like? Drop a comment. Some whatever, ring the bell. But yeah, that's the deck. I hope that helped anyone trying to build or pilot this deck. Maybe oh, and right, shout outs. So huge shout out to all of my local friends. They know who they are, but especially Kure for convincing me to come out to the event. A huge shout out to the people I test with on Discord. Code, Ten Suzuki, Arya, and also just people who help me chat with about the format. So Chandela, my finals opponent at Pasadena this year, uh, earlier this year. If I forgot Alfie, right? Who else? If I forgot you, I'm sorry. But yeah, know that if I've played with you any amount of testing or watched you play, you've been a big help to this run. And I'm gonna be at Pasadena with if not this exact list, something similar. I just love playing Sekka. So good luck on your tournaments this format. I hope I can help.